William J. Donovan was a man whose life seemed made for a spy novel, though even the best fiction could barely capture the layers of secrecy and power he navigated. Born in Buffalo, New York, in 1883, he grew up in a working-class Irish Catholic family. From the very beginning, he had an unshakable ambition. Some said it burned in his eyes even as a boy. He was bright, restless, and always willing to fight for what he believed in. Those qualities would later make him one of the most enigmatic figures in American history. His journey into legend began during World War I, serving with the famous, fighting 69th Regiment. Donovan's leadership and raw courage on the battlefield earned him the Medal of Honor. Soldiers who fought alongside him described a man who was fearless under fire, charging through chaos when others faltered. But what made him remarkable wasn't only bravery. It was his ability to see the bigger picture, to recognize that wars weren't won by brute strength alone, but by outthinking the enemy. That mindset would guide him into a new world, one far darker and more complex than the battlefield. When the world plunged into World War II, Donovan stepped into the shadows. President Franklin D. Roosevelt trusted him with an extraordinary task: to build an intelligence network capable of fighting not just with guns, but with secrets. Thus, the Office of Strategic Services, or OSS, was born under Donovan's command. It would become the precursor to the CIA. From London to North Africa, from the jungles of Burma to the mountains of occupied Europe, Donovan's agents moved silently, collecting information, sabotaging supply lines, rescuing prisoners, and sowing confusion behind enemy lines. He recruited not only soldiers but journalists, scholars, businessmen, even actors, anyone who could blend in and gather knowledge. Under his watch, the OSS became a vast invisible army. The stories of his spies read like fiction. Coded messages hidden in shoes, radios transmitting from safe houses, and covert meetings in candlelit cafes where life and death hung on a single whispered phrase. But Donovan's brilliance made him dangerous to some. J. Edgar Hoover, head of the FBI, despised him, seeing him as a rival who could undermine his own empire of power. Generals and politicians admired Donovan's daring but worried about his independence. He had powerful friends in Washington, but also powerful enemies. Even within his circle, people whispered, did Donovan know too much? Was he becoming too powerful? Yet Donovan thrived in the uncertainty. He carried himself with charm and ease, moving from the smoky backrooms of Washington to the war councils of Europe. Foreign leaders trusted him because he spoke with conviction. Resistance fighters in France, Greece, and Italy saw him as a lifeline. Every time the Allies gained the upper hand, there was often an unseen trace of Donovan's hand behind it. When the war ended, many expected Donovan to take his place at the head of the new Central Intelligence Agency. After all, the CIA was built on the skeleton of his OS. But politics intervened, and instead, he found himself pushed to the sidelines. For a man who had lived in constant movement, commanding shadows across the world, this was a bitter twist. He became an advisor, a lawyer, even a diplomat, but he never again held the same power. Still, the aura of mystery followed him until his death in 1959. Some believed Donovan had left behind secrets too large to ever be revealed. Files disappeared, rumors spread, and his name remained tied to whispers of covert operations that no government would acknowledge. To some, he was a hero who had saved countless lives through intelligence and strategy. To others, he was a dangerous man whose hunger for secrets could have destabilized nations. Even now, history remembers him as both celebrated and shadowed. A man who thrived where others feared to tread. William J. Donovan lived not in the sunlight of recognition, but in the twilight where power is hidden, where truth and lies blur. His story is not just one of war, but of curiosity itself, about how far one man could go in pursuit of knowledge, and how that pursuit shaped the very world we live in today.